So my presentation will focus on mostly on what we do with some videos, so it'll give you an idea or a flavor of our tech. But just to reiterate, we're more a technology company. We provide purely a software, and we don't really work on, let's say some of our peers who have presented around like advertising, some really good advertising ways to do it. We power some of it through a software, but that's pretty much our specialization. So just to kick off, as mentioned, we are a conversational commerce platform. So we are building commerce through conversations. And why do we do that? There are many challenges that you guys know. Product penetration is an issue, especially when it comes to across Africa, specifically also in Kenya. What it means is your cost of acquisition for brands is very high. Now, and a simple example is this. Today, if a brand wants to reach out to a consumer, right, the most effective medium actually is in person. No matter what we say, hey, you will do this great ads, we'll do these great apps, we'll do all of this. But the truth is, if you look at any B2B company which is trying to reach out to a retailer or a supermarket like Zucchini, their whole thing is the person should come to I need the salesperson to come to my shop, or the customer has to come to our office, our branch. That's the most sort of the used pattern. Now, while that is good, what it means is your cost of acquisition is very high, because you cannot obviously be physically reaching to all the people. Your body count goes up, the maintenance, the HR, everything goes up. It's much more harder to keep up. And the reason when we dwelled into it, we learned that there is a simple logic that runs in this, which is basically trust. In commerce, everything is all about trust. I need to trust the brand, and hence you see TikTok, Instagram, WhatsApp actually going, because what the customer is trying to do is, I want to talk to you. I don't need to physically come and talk to you, but I want to talk to you. I need to know that you as a brand is a person that I can connect with. And we realize that in most of the cases, and probably, I won't do a show of hands, but I'm sure you guys would probably know, most of you at some point or the other have spoken to a shop on WhatsApp. WhatsApp is the most preferred channel out there, right? I'm chatting on Instagram, which is great, but I want to buy, I'm going to get to the WhatsApp and say, tell me where you are, where is your shop, when are you going to deliver to me, how is my payment going to come? Everything, all of this happens on WhatsApp. And this is not just in Kenya, this is across Africa. Across emerging markets. You see this as a trend in pretty much global scenario, and also in African scenario, where WhatsApp is actually the most preferred social media channel for conversations, right? And it's ahead of even TikTok and Instagram when it comes to conversations. And we are basically saying, okay, if your customers are on WhatsApp, why are you forcing them to move to some other platform? Why don't you finish the entire transaction, everything from engagement to transaction? Why don't you create a mobile app experience that you want to create through conversation on WhatsApp itself? And that's what started our trend. We started off with saying, okay, we will solve 5 particular problems for you on WhatsApp. We'll enable you to reach further, which is how many all your customers are on WhatsApp, how do you reach them? We'll enable you to sell better on WhatsApp. We'll enable you to create the more difficult parts of payments, whether it's credit, whether it's cashbacks, etc., logistics, etc., pretty much all the scheduling deliveries on it. And then we'll give you insights on how your platform is performing, or how your brand is performing on WhatsApp. And finally, give you retention techniques around how to get better at it. These are the 5 core components that we focus on. So I'll start off with, some videos peppered in between, but basically as I mentioned earlier, what we do is enable apps inside of WhatsApp. So we are one of the few ones who can use our AI to detect what the customer is saying, and then create a response in the form of buttons inside of WhatsApp. So if a person is saying, hey, I stay in ABC, our AI is able to know, is that your delivery address to deliver confirm? You can confirm, and then that becomes your delivery address. So the person is sort of having a conversation with you, but our AI and our agent are able to understand what it is and then able to respond based on that. So then the second part is we integrate catalogs. So I think there are when I say catalogs, there's some confusion at times. There are two types of catalogs. There's a catalog that you already would have seen on WhatsApp, right? It's a simple catalog, about 30 to 40 products. You can do that, which is great. But what about like large brands? Unilever that we work with has close to 500 plus products, SKUs at a minimum. You can't put that on a WhatsApp catalog. So that's where we come in and we put our own catalog. So through our own APIs, we enable a catalog inside WhatsApp, which looks exactly like a regular mobile app website. But it's built inside of WhatsApp where you can trigger everything from payments and stuff. So that's a Sukhiba-led catalog. So we do both WhatsApp catalogs where it's required and a Sukhiba-led catalog that's required. So that's the first thing. And then we integrate, like I said, payments. You will see, I'll give you an example of M-Pesa, how we integrate payments, how we integrate locations, etc. as we go through this. So an example is this video that well, we have one of our clients who actually was supposed to be here but unfortunately couldn't make it. It's a D2C brand called Uncover. Now Uncover is a skin brand, wants to reach out to their customers, and we said, okay, we'll do an end-to-end e-commerce for you on WhatsApp itself. So this is an experience of Uncover, where in Uncover, when you click on their WhatsApp, you will be able to see their catalog, which is inbuilt by us inside of WhatsApp. This is not a regular catalog like WhatsApp catalog, but is integrated with payments, etc. So customers can click, you will be able to know out of stock, inventory levels, everything. And as soon as you send the cart, our AI will tell you, hey, okay, you seem like you purchased a product, tell me your delivery address, and then there is a delivery fee that you can link to it. And as soon as you see that, it'll ask you the delivery address. You can just type. You don't need to do like, oh, I need to send my location, nothing. You just, as a consumer, you can just type what your address is, we'll confirm it, and you can pay immediately the whole M-Pesa immediately as an SDK push. We integrate your M-Pesa payables, till numbers, everything inside it. So as you can see, we are able to pretty much complete the entire transaction for a customer on WhatsApp itself, without the customer trying to leave WhatsApp or needing to have, and this can be done purely through a conversation. So that's our first big work that we do for brands, and we work with most of the large, well-known brands, if I could say, in Kenya. Obviously, there's still a lot more to be done, but we've started utilizing spaces to make people realize that you don't need a mobile app if you're a company. You can do that. If your customer already has WhatsApp, you already have the mobile app with your customers. So you don't need to build another mobile app, force them to install it, and then teach them. They are already talking, they're already in conversation on WhatsApp, which already means that you have a mobile app for them. So that's the key thing we're doing. And I'll probably show a couple of other videos peppered on how we do few other things. For example, there's another large brand which uses us in agriculture. And it's a very different thing. In agriculture, there are people who are calling farmers, etc., or agro retailers who call these manufacturers and say, okay, I want 10 units of fertilizers, right? You would have heard about all the telecalling services, etc., where people are calling and ordering. Now, the problem is when I'm calling and ordering, there's a disconnect. I have said 10 units of fertilizer. The person on the phone has recorded 5 units of fertilizer, and probably the logistic guys delivered 4 units of fertilizers. And the price is completely different. So what we do is we enable something called send carts. So the send cart model enables you to, sorry, I should probably skip this. The send cart model enables you to, sorry, one second. Let me see if I can. Okay, for the interest of the time, I'll probably show this in a little while, just so that I don't waste other people's time. But just one second. All right, so I'll probably show the videos towards the end once I'm able to figure out the technical parts. But basically, there are a few more things that we do, which is basically sending cards, which is, okay, how do we send cards to customers? Why from our side itself? So you're able to send cards as an agent. You're on a call, your customer is saying, hey, I need 10 units of sugar. You can actually be able to send a card right from your phone to another customer's phone on their WhatsApp itself. The third thing you're able to do is mining data. So we use AI very, very differently. And I'll towards the end of the presentation, I'll try figuring out a way to show it to you guys as this video. AI has traditionally or mostly been used around content, but very less on the data. And we are one of the few people who use AI on data. And how do we use AI on data? It's a very simple model. Let's say today, if I pick a brand and I say, hey, tell me the list of all the customers who've not shopped in the last 30 days for you, right? Please correct me if I'm wrong, but the most common answer is going to be, I'll go to my customer list or probably a CRM. I will download the Excel. I will then filter it by the list of customers who not shopped in the last 30 days. I'll upload the Excel, and that's the list of the customers, right? Am I right? Is that the most common way to do that? Right. So how we do that is very different. We know that that is a problem both from a time and a skill perspective for many brands. So what we do is a very simple AI model where you can ask our AI model pretty much any of the data questions you have. You can say, hey, send me the list of all the customers who not shopped in the last 30 days. And your AI will be able to send you the entire list. And then you can say, hey, okay, great. Send all these customers a coupon telling them we missed you in the last 30 days. Can you come back and shop with us? And AI will immediately send a coupon on WhatsApp to all these customers. So what we do is we use AI to mine data. And this can be anything from saying, get me the list of all the customers who've shopped oil and who've not shopped sugar. And it'll get you, and then say, okay, how do we ask AI that can you send a coupon or a discount for them to say, if you add sugar today, you'll get it at a 10% discount, right? And only those set of customers will get that coupon at a 10%. So the AI is able to help you mine data and send the coupons or the cards directly to the customer. So this is an extension of sending card where rather than sending a card, you're actually able to send an entire, ask AI to send a coupon. So you're doing a much more targeted messaging to all your customers rather than, just a blanket, hey, we have a 10% discount happening for all your customers, right? So you can do a lot more targeted planning for your brands with our AI model. So that's our second thing. And the last one, and a lot of people have spoken about it, again, how do we use AI? We use this more in kiosk on a B2B level. So a very particular problem is we have brands like Coca-Cola, Unilever, who go to the shops. Every week they visit the same shops and create a cart saying, hey, what do you want? What are all the products that you want and stuff? So what we do is basically we create a AI-enabled recommended cart. So you can go to the shop, you can note down the details of the shop and tell the AI, hey, recommend the cart that needs to be sent to him. And the AI will bring out the cart based on his historical purchases, etc. And then you can add the products and stuff. So you can pretty much, what it does is two things. It cuts down the time per customer by almost 60%, because you're no more creating the same cart again and again, but you're actually creating the cart in a jiffy with the AI. That's number one. And number two is it also allows you to increase the average order value and cross-sell. So you don't want all your customers to be buying oil the same time, every time. You want them to cross-sell. So you are able to also recommend AI saying, also based on the recommendation cart, cross-sell ABC products, and they get added to the cart. So you're able to also enable AI to create carts for customers based on their historical purchases and send that cart to them on their WhatsApp. So the way to think of it is at a Zucchini, if you shop over a week or over 3 weeks, on the 4th week, Zucchini will automatically say, hey, you've not shopped this week, do you want me to recommend a cart? You can say, yeah, and all of those are in the videos. I'll figure out how to show the videos, but you can say yes, and immediately Zucchini will be able to send you a cart right away based on your purchases. So that way you're saving up your time. You, as a customer of Zucchini, you're no more thinking of like, okay, what am I going to buy again? Because you're buying the same product, the milk, the oil, the sugar, the tomatoes again. But AI is now helping you, saying these are all the products possibly that you've probably finished in your home. So here's the cart, you can buy it off, or you can edit the cart and stuff. So that's the recommended cart. And finally, what we do is digital wallets inside WhatsApp. So this is more towards kiosks, etc. So if you're a distributor, you want to run loyalty programs. So one of our clients is here in the crowd. With Godrej, we will run one of the largest loyalty programs, which is basically close to 15,000 salons today are able to buy any of the Godrej items and access loyalty points and turn the loyalty points into airtime or cash or wallet of a Godrej wallet to purchase next set of product. And all that without leaving. So today, if you want to do a loyalty points, as you would have seen in some of the supermarkets, you have a card, you have to carry the card, you have to tell them. We don't do any of that. We say you can just query the WhatsApp saying, what are my loyalty points? It'll tell you and say, okay, can you turn that into cash? It'll turn that into a cash immediately. So the goal for us is using AI and conversation to make the entire commerce and life easier. That's pretty much it from me on what it is. I'll try figuring out how to show the videos right now. But in the interim, if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to take those questions too. Thanks.
Any queries? Okay, I'll pass you from there.
Thank you so much for that presentation. I think it's a timely, considering almost everyone, like you said, is on WhatsApp. And I think one of the greatest fears for WhatsApp is data privacy. How have you been able to figure that out in terms of how can we control the data privacy? And if, for example, a company has ethical concerns where someone needs to give a consent that they can transact through that, are there mechanisms for that? And you know the way the globe is opening up, and sometimes apps like Zoom and all that, if I wanted to contact customers, even for a conversation, is that possible? And is it possible to do it for a controlled group as well? And my last question is on the payments. You mentioned that if I'm doing a B2B, they can actually transact, and if I have a fee, say I'm delivering to Westlands or I'm delivering to Kisumu, of course the fee will be different. Does the app allow that kind of adjustments?
I'll go in the reverse to make it easy. The last one, yes. So the way we built it is a hyper customized one and no code one. What it means is if you're a brand, you can do everything on an Excel and it'll get embedded into WhatsApp. So you don't need a coding thing. And you can design the Excels in as many ways. You can say for Kisumu, it is 350, for Westlands is 150. You can design the prices, the products, the whole logistics, etc. by location. So you can pretty much design everything, and based on the customer's location, the relevant catalog with prices and products and logistics. So a Westland customer sees a completely different set of products from maybe a Karen customer, as an example. So you can do that. And the other one on brands being able to want to talk to customers on WhatsApp, like Zoom, etc. Yeah, so there is something called targeting that we do, which is basically, again, like you can use the AI to create a control group and say, hey, I only want to talk to customers who have not used Zoom in the last 30 days. It'll create the list, and you're only able to. So any of the brands can use our targeting software to do that. Then coming to the data privacy part, so there are two big things on WhatsApp. All right, it's a contentious one, but it's still the more relevant one in this. Among all the social media platforms that we have today, you take TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, WhatsApp is the only and only encrypted software that is out there. And whether it is a contentious or whether we believe it or not is a secondary thing, but at least the point here is no one will claim Instagram is encrypted, no one will claim YouTube is encrypted, no company claims. WhatsApp is the only one that claims we are encrypted and you cannot be hacked because it's a completely end-to-end encryption. So there's already that data protection that's kind of inbuilt into this. Then you add the additional layer, which is basically the whole data. So there are two things that we add. First is consent. Almost every message that we send in our through any brand sent through our software has a button called I don't want this, like no notification button. You press that, the brand will never be able to access you till you give the consent back. So every message, and even if there's no message, right, you can go to a number and say hi, and it'll tell you, do you want to subscribe or unsubscribe? You can say I want to unsubscribe, you're done. You don't need, there is no way for the brand to ever contact you if you do that until you give back the consent. So there's already consent built in almost every message of it. So that's another part. And then finally on our side, so the whole software is built on enterprise grade security, things that are used by banks. So it's not something that can be, well, almost anything can be hacked, but it takes a lot more effort to get into our system than any other systems in usual.
So I have two questions. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, go on. I was just pointing it out.
Okay. So is it that you have an established consumer database that we're tapping into?
No.
So we're building our own database with you. Who owns the database? Is it us or is it you?
No, we are a purely, and that's why I started off by saying we are purely a software player. We are not an advertising company. We are not a data company. We don't own any data. We don't mine any data. We don't share any data. The brands, we sign the legal, so an example is, I mentioned that we work with Godrej and there are more than 15,000 salons. We don't own any of it. There is no way any other brand will be able to know anything about what salons, where, anything. That's all owned by Godrej. We are purely a software company which helps brands enable a WhatsApp conversation. But we are not we provide tools to mine data better, but we don't own data or cross-sell data anywhere. I don't know how to reach that, but maybe you can shout if it's easier.
I can try. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Great. So my name is John. I work with a company called Reshaping. So I'm in the data research and analytics space. So the question I had, probably you may have answered it, but I was just curious with regards to the stretch that you can do with AI on the data analytics side of things, given that I know you have, with your system, you have the visibility across multiple customer categories. And the thing that is running in my mind is how can we get value out of understanding this one customer who is buying from Unilever, buying from Diageo, and get these insights to the relevant individuals. But I also get to understand that you have limitations.
Yeah, no, so it's a decision that we made. Yeah, no, there's absolutely no stretch, if I could say. It's a conscious decision that we made. We do not stress data. So what I mean by that is we have a lot of data about salons, as an example. We know exactly when, who buys, what they buy, where they buy, how they buy. But we don't even forget an independent salon. We don't even share aggregated statistics outside. Like not many of, except for probably Godrej and us, no one actually knows that what we do. And we're very, very clear that we didn't want to go that direction. We don't share even aggregated data of how which customer is performing how. Like for an example, if a beauty industry wants to know how are the salons performing, right? Generally, well, what's the purchasing pattern? Ideally, we have the data to be able to do that. But we made a very conscious decision that we don't want to be in that space. We don't want to be a player who's trying to talk about how the purchasing patterns are shifting, what is happening. The data is owned by Godrej. They are the only ones who can do that. We cannot be in that limelight. So there's no stretch, if I could say.
Thank you very much. Joseph Malinga is my name. I work with African GmbH.
Oh, yes, sorry. Yeah.
I do some work with around Africa, and I'm from Uganda. So my question around what you are proposing, I've seen someone try to do this, is what is the entry point? How do you get the customer? Or how does the client get the customer? Because sometimes you will find there's a bit of strife on, using the platform. There's a bit of discomfort, and also setting aside issues of privacy and issues of, if the platform is well integrated, how does the client get the customer and then enable them to drive the kind of adoption? Then also for the different kinds of products, we have beauty products, we have fashion. Which ones from your experience have you seen performing very well across the industries? Because from my experience working with some of the e-commerce platforms, there are some products which don't really do well, even when you do shopping online and something like that. Would appreciate any perspective. Thank you.
Sure. I think on the first one, how do we get data? We don't. Like I said, we are not in the business of customers, so the brands have to get the data on themselves. So, we work with, we don't really work with upstarts as much. We work with large brands usually. Not to say that we don't like working, but so they already have a truckload of data sitting there. So our software helps them organize it better. But we don't do any of the work on. So the simplest way is click to WhatsApp ads. They once you have a WhatsApp integrated with us, you can create like click to WhatsApp ads, and as soon as anyone clicks, you're able to like start mining the data and stuff. So that's one of the simplest way. But usually clients have this data. It's a very specific problem that we try solving. If you look at it, so think of it as a B2B company. A B2B company, regardless of what you read in the news, right? The best way to sell to a kiosk is going to the kiosk and selling it. That's just as simple. That's what happens everywhere, right? A salesperson in a day can only visit 25 kiosks per day, max. Logistical problem. Now, there are at least 100 other kiosks that want the Unilever product in the same location. Right? Now, what do the companies do? They try hiring another person, which is, very inefficient way to do that. So that's where we come in. All we are saying is we are not trying to make it like an e-commerce thing. All we are saying is, all right, you go to those 25 shops. This is great. But the remaining 75 shops, just give them your WhatsApp number. Tell them you want any product, just type on this one, and either our AI or our agent will be able to create that into a cart and send it to you. And it gets integrated into ERPs. So all our systems are integrated into SAPs, Oracle, Microsoft Dynamics, etc. So the company runs the business as its own. So we don't claim ourselves as an e-commerce company. We do commerce on WhatsApp, but that's not what we claim. So you will see a Unilever using us to sell to kiosks, or a distributor using us to sell to kiosks, and an Uncover using us to create like a community of skin conscious customers, or a Godrej using it to sell to salons. So it's a pretty wide. The way to think of it is not in e-commerce. The way to think of it is how many of your customers want to converse, right? If the customers want to converse, you have the customer, whether it is banking, whether it's insurance. So it will only not work in spaces where the customers don't want to talk to you. And we haven't seen that many use cases yet on like probably a bit in grocery, but we work with Zucchini and it's the customers have been talking where they just get up in the day and they put an entire list of orders saying I need 1 kilo sugar, 5 kilo onions, 10 kilos of oil, so something or the other, and they put it and leave and go. And everything gets automated for them. So we haven't seen a use case where it's not yet working efficiently from a conversation point of view. Obviously, the only use cases you see is if the company is not ready, like you have a conversation, but if you don't want to have a conversation with your own customers, then it's a challenge. But usually the bigger successes have definitely been more for us in the B2B space and then in the D2C of fashion and beauty.
Hello.
Sorry, I think this.
Yes, my name is Israel. I'm a software dev from Little. And I wanted to ask, I believe you have answered it, but then I still want to ask. In terms of, if let's say your client is not that much tech savvy, I mean, how do you actually how do you actually like handle that in terms of now you now okay, how can I put it? Migrate now the customer from having not knowing anything in regards to AI or anything.
No, you don't need to. Absolutely no. That's the whole. The reason we developed everything on WhatsApp is exactly for that reason, which is basically. So let me give you an example. One of my favorite clients is this group called Nyayo Moms. I don't know if any of you stay in Nyayo house, Nyayo apartments in Embakasi. So there's a very popular group called Nyayo Moms there. It's basically a group of about 250 women who run their businesses, household businesses. We said, like, our goal was to reach merchants like them. And it's a very simple, straightforward thing where we are the ones who are dealing with all the AIs and all. For you, it's just as simple. You're a WhatsApp, you have a WhatsApp at your end, the customers have a WhatsApp at their end, and then everything else in between is taken care. Right? So we don't like complicating it as much as you can. Sorry. Yeah.
Thank you. Great presentation. So imagine as your client, and then everything seems to be centered around WhatsApp. In the event that it crashes, what's your plan B?
In the event that the WhatsApp crashes, or? Yeah. It's a bit like in the event the internet crashes, so hard to answer that. Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Yeah. So basically we are integrated into Meta. We do more work on WhatsApp because we believe WhatsApp is a more reliable one. But when you're integrated there, you can integrate with Facebook Messenger, Instagram, etc. So you can always migrate that back to Instagrams and Facebook Messengers, etc. or an SMS. But it's not the most reliable way to do it. Exactly. So that's what. So there are regulations that we can't probably control. We don't have a plan B for regulations. We try not working in those places as much. But WhatsApp being down for I don't think it's ever happened. To be fair, like WhatsApp being down for 3-4 days, forget my company, which is fine. I think if WhatsApp is down for 3-4 days, there's a lot more larger repercussion for the economy as a whole than just my tiny company having. So that's a bigger problem there actually. Yes, sorry.
Okay, so what I'm gathering is that this is when you're creating a community, yes. So it's not just a retail platform; it's a community. So, like the example you just gave about the moms,
right?
Yeah.
No, I was just calling Mercy to see if she can adjust the video, but that's okay. Yeah.
Okay. So, like the example you just gave about the Nyayo moms, so they are also having a conversation around that particular category. Yes.
Right.
That's what I'm gathering.
No, so these are basically women business, household women-led businesses who have come together to create like a business consortium. So for you as a customer, it looked like an entire e-commerce catalog with a lot of products, etc. But behind that are 200 women who are doing or manufacturing these products at their home and selling.
Oh, I see.
So it's basically trying to get small merchants to be able to sell via WhatsApp to a wider audience.
Okay. So who do you consider your key competitor? And what is your competitive advantage? That's number one. Number two, in terms of how are you making money? Do you mark up over our product, or do you sort of agree on a discounted offer to the customers that you
No, so we're a software company, no markups. We don't make money on we don't mark up. We're not an e-commerce company.
Okay.
We purely provide software as a service, as a subscription fee, and that's about it.
So it's like a monthly subscription.
Monthly subscription fee. That's about. We don't engage in the business of. We give you tools to create discounts and markups, but we don't do those things. Sorry,
so
what was the competitive?
Who's your competitor? You know what? And what's your competitive advantage?
Yeah. Let me think. So we might be the first ones, but we won't be the last ones in Africa. Let me put it that way. I'm sure there are going to be tons and tons of people who will catch up. It's just a matter of time. We're just the first ones to do this.
Okay,
I mean, there are other ways to do it. SMS guys.
Let me rephrase that question.
Yeah.
What's the substitute? Okay, because this
SMS,
one is a
bulk
substitute.
SMS.
I mean, I can go and be on a Facebook group, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah, and on that group, maybe we are runners or whatever it is. We have our conversations. We buy products that are related to what our lifestyle is about.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. All those are substitutes, if I would say. Like bulk SMSs, Facebook groups, manually messaging on WhatsApp and trying to sell the products. I mean, it like all these business mobile apps, web apps, all of those are our substitutes. Yeah. Sorry, last question. I don't know. Okay, it's up.
The mic is going across there.
Yeah.
I have it.
Okay, one second. Susan, just adding on yours. You're asking him a very hard thing. Like, if you want to benchmark him with others. I think in understanding what he's saying, there are different platforms, yeah? And they will all give us different parts. I've heard what Ananth is saying on his, and I'm also really exploring this, what's up on business and things. I think his is very different. There are others like bulk SMS and others in that field that would not be a match per se in this regard. Not exactly.
Yeah. So my name is John, and you've spoken a lot about products, yeah. But I was wondering, in the banking industry, for example, we have different kind of solutions for different kinds of you. So we would have, say, a digital savings account, we'd have an Absa One account and whatnot.
Yeah.
How does that work in the WhatsApp, in especially your platform, one?
Yeah.
And then I know that in WhatsApp we have the recent WhatsApp channels, right?
Yeah.
And I actually think it's really cool. But how do you infiltrate that? And what would you say is the advantage of actually even just being part of, say, a WhatsApp channel? Because I know a WhatsApp channel is, I think we send that to our different contacts and they join, but they really cannot comment. They probably
Exactly.
just can like on a post and just react to it. But how do you, okay, what would you say about that? But first, how would your platform work for us? Yeah.
No, so I think the WhatsApp channel is communities is there. We don't do much there. You can post through us, but that's pretty much it. See, the genesis of our company is conversation. What we were saying is that a lot of people in Kenya prefer conversations over commerce. Like, I'm buying an insurance, I want to talk to you. What is this insurance? I want to talk and then finish the transaction as part of it. So we do more on products, but we work with insurance companies like Jubilee, etc. Exactly on the same thing, which is basically how do you integrate conversations and transactions into it. Products are like easier use case to get in. Obviously, banks require two parts, which is a heavy integration. It's not as easy as me selling a shoes. Me selling a banking product requires a lot of stringent integrations into banking. So it's a much more time-taking effort. From an integration perspective with insurance companies, etc. So we go slow, but it's exactly the same thing, conversations with transactions.
Does it work like a chatbot?
No, so the key thing here, I heard some of the previous presentations also use chatbot. I think people confuse flows with AI. Chatbots are basically flows, which is basically saying if a person says this, say that. If a person says this, say this. That's not a conversation, that is a flow, right? That's a chatbot. An AI is what you do on GPT. It is purely a conversation with an AI. You can have everything. You can say, I have 2 kids, what do you recommend? And the AI is going to tell you, oh, based on this, I think you should have an insurance for 3 people. Are you okay with you? So it's an intelligent system which is trying to have a conversation with you. Right? And it's a blend. There are times AI doesn't do and it passes on to the agent. I'm not trying to say AI will do 100% of it. So it's a blend, it doesn't do. But it's not a chatbot, it's not a flow. Your flow will not make your customer happy. Your customer is coming to talk to you, to get that personal feel. And that's where AI is way more powerful than just a chatbot.
Thank you.
If you're good. So, sorry, this is the last one. I'll just show this one and then I guess we're done. Yeah.